Good afternoon. We got some good, we got some bad, and we got some ugly. So let's just get right to this next on What's in My Drawers Golf Talk. Welcome to What's in My Drawers Golf Talk. Jim McCleary here, and this is McGolf Shop and What's in My Drawers, and it's What's in My Drawers in the shop over there. And this is a channel where we talk about golf club repairs, golf club reviews, and golf club fittings, all so your scores can go low. All right, if you would, like, subscribe, hit that stuff across the bottom. You see this thing with the notification happening right there. Let's get the word out about the channel. Now, first things off so that I'm not wasting any of your time. For those of you that are here to listen to John Freeman from Mizuno, he cannot. The reason being is the embargo date is not the date that he thought it was. It is next Monday. And embargo meaning that I can't show you any pictures. Now, I can talk about it, and we will because I golfed with it this weekend, but we're not allowed to really go into any massive detail. So it will be next Monday, and I deeply apologize because John just thought about that this Monday, and I was only able to change some stuff on forums. I wasn't able to change thumbnails and things like that. So hopefully you stick around. We'll learn a little bit about some golf stuff, and we will still be talking golf club, mostly the irons and stuff like that. So let's get right to it. So we did some fittings this week, and we did one for an older couple, and they were the epitome of yin and yang. And one of the lady was a very fluid golfer, and these golfers were in their 70s, okay? And one was she was very fluid in her swing, but not very strong, right? And as soon as we fit her into some 40-gram shafts, and particularly the smoke high launch with the Aldila, it's called LDO, or I'm sorry, Mitsubishi LDO, which could be either one actually. It's a 40-gram lady shaft, and the thing worked like a champ. We got her out there. Every time we gave her something light, she just absolutely killed it. Now, what was bothering her as far as distance is that she was only coming back like this and finishing like that. And once we got her strung out a little bit and then got her going through a little bit, we literally gained her about 30 yards. So that's a grand thing. One of her biggest problems was actually putting. And normally, you know, the lady putters are normally pretty good. And she was missing right and left, and it was because the putter was fighting her stroke. She had a bladed putter. It doesn't matter the model; it's just a bladed putter, and she was not a screen dory putter. She was a straight back, straight forward type of putter. And the minute I got her, I put just to prove my fact, I gave her a center shafted putter, and as soon as she started doing that, she made 9 out of 10 putts. And then we started talking a little bit more about what she was seeing when she was putting. And we ended up with the exact same putter, but just in a heel mount and a face balanced. And it worked out grand. So that was a good thing. And for her husband, I'm sorry, I got, again, an itchy nose. And then for her husband, it was kind of the same ordeal. Putting was a bit of a struggle. However, he had a pretty decent styled putter. It was just the lie angle was just so bad. He was having to make all these changes. He was literally 3-4 degrees away from where he needed to be. So as soon as I did that, started putting really good. We got him into the drivers, and as one would think, Our Lady needed about a 13 to 14 degree driver because of swing speed, and really trying to help her get stuff into the air. And once we started doing that and started getting into the higher lofts, killing it, absolutely killing it. And that takes you into the next club, right? And when you get in the next club and you're using a high lofted driver, how do you contend with the next club? And that's always been a conundrum for a lot of fitters. And what I've come up with, me in particular, what I've come up with is taking if they liked fairway woods, what I did is I took a 5 wood and made it into a 3 wood length, kind of like a hybrid 4 wood. Now, if they're more of a hybrid person, we do the same thing and take like a 4 degree hybrid and make it 3 3 hybrid length, because it's all about getting the air because of swing speed. You had to get up in the air, and so that worked out pretty good. Uh, as far as the gentleman was concerned, he had something wrong with his biceps, and there wasn't a lot going on. But he was in the day, he was a very aggressive golfer, and it was coming through in a lot of his swings. It was very grooved swing, to be sure, and in his 70s, right? And he brings in his clubs, and they have the senior shafts in them, and he's everywhere. He's everywhere with it. And when you're spraying it like that, that is a huge indicator that your shaft is not correct. Could be length, to be sure, but his swing was pretty grooved. And so what it was is that he had a fairly aggressive pullback and tear down of his swing, and he was right just outside the regular range in the low. And I said, you know what? Here's what's happening. He was torquing the shaft much like a guy that was in a regular swing speed. So I cranked him up to a regular flex. All of a sudden, and now he's down the middle and hitting it plenty further too. That was the big deal. And that was across the board. The last bit was wedges, and we started talking about new wedges, of which we're going to talk about in places, well, along with some of the Mizuno, but I can show you these. All right, the last one that we want to talk about was a ball fitting. I haven't done a ball fitting in ages and ages. So everybody salute. And I did a fitting for this gentleman, and I told him the golf ball that he needed. And he says, "Oh, he's in his 70s. He's a very good player. He plays into, he'll break 80, still break 80, still gets it out there. But he's playing the Titleist left dash." And I was like, "Dude, that is way too much golf ball." But I mean, he had a pretty strong swing, and he's like, "Well, that's the one that goes the furthest." And I said, "Well, no doubt, it's probably the hardest as well." And he goes, "Okay," but I said, "Now we need stopping power." So he called me up and he says, "I want to do a ball fitting." I said, "All right." So he came up with his own golf balls, and then I threw out 3 sets of golf balls for him to test, and he brought a pitching wedge and a driver. And here's what you see. So on a driver, he went, the left dash actually did go far, but he hit it better, and that's all based on ball speed, right? So if we look at this, he went 208, 234 with almost an 89 mile an hour swing speed. Had a little bit of spin on it, that's what happens when you got a harder ball, but it went out there. The Chrome Soft, however, was a little bit behind it, but it rolled out more because it spun a little bit less. Hit a little bit harder, actually hit a little bit higher, whole 9 yards. Now, the reason why this is 199, and these numbers I'm giving you are averages. And what he did was on three of the golf balls, he hit well past the other one, and then one he ducked, and didn't go very far at all, but it rolled clean out. So I said, well, we're going to leave it here just so I can show you so that you can see what the law of averages do. And okay, so in reality, the Chrome Soft was right up there with it. Then you see what happens when I give him a harder ball in the Chrome Tour. He's right back up there, right behind it again. He was 4 yards behind it, hitting it just as well, except for he spun it way more. Now, if he would have spun it more in the left dash arena, I think the Chrome Tour would have won. Then comes his stuff. He had a tailor-made response, and the reason why we didn't go any further is because the other ones didn't work. So when we did the pitching wedge first, and of all of them, the Chrome Soft and the Chrome Tour ended up in a tie as far as distances go. However, the Soft spun a little bit more, and its consistency was much greater. Okay, much greater. And then after that, the left dash was behind it, spinning a little bit more, which really caught me by surprise. But it was all over the place. Then he did a tailor-made response. We did a Chrome Soft X, we did a Pro V, and we did a Velocity. Now, of all of these golf balls, the one that was the most consistent of them all was actually the Pro V. And it landed 4 and 5 yards behind. And when you're 4 and 5 yards behind and distance is a concern, that doesn't win the day. And the other ones up here, and I'm talking, they were really, really tight. Now, the other ones were within club lengths of each other instead of landing on a dinner plate. So when we landed all on it, the Chrome Soft won the day as far as one getting him out there, as far as the best golf ball overall, right? Obviously, the left dash won in the distance category for the driver, and he says he just loves the golf ball. And I said, well, if you love the golf ball, play it. It's obviously there. And he says, well, which one's the best? And I said, well, it's the Chrome Soft. So he's got a box of Chrome Softs, and I'm sure he's out there testing it even as we speak. And we'll see. I'll hear from him again to be sure. All right, so going back in it, here we go. Mizuno. Mizuno is, John is a great guy. He's a dirty nerdy techie guy that like me, but he communicates extraordinarily well. And I was able to take out the Chrome, or I'm sorry, we was able to take out the JPX hot metal, the 2025 model and the Pro model. It looks like that, so you can't see. And I was able to take it out. Went to Crown Hill, and they let me take off on the back so I could do some testing. And so I played around. I used my driver to get off the tee, and they have a new high fly. And the high fly came with a steel shaft, which was totally unique for me. And it turned out it worked pretty good. So I got around the back nine of Crown Hill with my driver, a high fly 4 hybrid, the 25, or they're going to call it I'm sure if they stay with their numbering, it'd be the JPX hot metal 925, and a 5 iron, a 7 iron, and a pitch and wedge, and then the Opus wedge. Okay, the Opus wedge. And that's how I got around that course, and I shot a 43. So I am not disappointed with any of these golf clubs whatsoever. I won't get into the specifics of it because that's a conversation that I would like to have with John so that you guys can ask him some questions as well. But I will say there is a significantly different feel difference in this club. All right. I am not hitting it gobs and gobs and gobs further. I'm just not. But when I strike it, what I found is mishits aren't doing so bad, right? They're not doing so bad. And the feel is much more solid than the previous models. So keep that in mind, and we will talk about that. And again, come Monday, I have a video of me testing it in here and testing it out on the course. So that will be coming out. This week, we're going to be talking about that guy, the Opus wedge, right? We talked about this one once before. Now, I took this one out. This one had the mid in it, right? It's got the mid 115, and I had the standard grind. I don't know if you can see that. I don't know if you can see that. Anyway, it's right here. It is the S grind. Now, what I wanted to show you about the S grind is if you look at it, and it's good that it's tinted, there's not much up here removed, but it kind of goes away this way. And that makes for a really good, what I call a mini tour grind, okay? And then I took out this one, which is sporting the recoil dart 65 gram wedge shaft. And this came with a W grind. Now, this one is a bit of a surprise in that, let's see if I can make it, there we go. In that, if you look at this, it's not as wide as the previous wide was. And it's got some relief. It's a little bit rounded right here so that it's not straight out as one would think that it would come straight out here. It actually curves in. And I used this one, and fairly successfully. I did choke on one. But when you see this particular golf shaft, you go 65 grams, Jim. It was like a noodle. It has a significant amount of head weight, at least head weight feel, right? So it really was easier to control. Now, just to kind of keep you guys informed, now I want to show you something. This is how lefties are treated. All right, 360 Golf Pride grip. I like a 360 Golf Pride grip. Here's the right-handed version of the same thing. Now, these guys, when they put the grip on, I've got the little mound at the top where they put them on maybe a little too far. These are the right-handed version. Look at that, nice and tight, and they're gray. Now, why are they different? right? Why are they different? They're sporting the same shaft, but they're different. All right, so what do we got? We got a T-grind. This is kind of new to me. The T-grind is a wedge with a lot of sole removal. It's very much ground away back in here, right? It's ground away back here, and it's a lower bounce. This is a 6-degree T-wedge. There's very little in here. If you're wanting to flop a shot and you're playing on some hard pan, that is the way to go. Okay, that's the way to go. Man, what is the deal? Look, I got some. They got another one, the C grind. Now, the C grind's been with Callaway for quite some time. This is a 8-degree, and it also 8-degree bounce with a 58-degree. And what this one is a little more rounded here, and there's a little more sole there. So if you were playing moguls and had a lot of moguling going on, that would be the way to go. Now, the last one I wasn't able to show you, and this is their premium, or what they're calling their platinum edition. We're going to concentrate on this as soon as I can figure out how to get my nose to stop itching. All right, this one's made a little different. This has what they call the Z grind. All right, and the Z grind, let's do it like that, is if you look, there you go, it's a noticeable cutaway or a killed area right here. And then what it is, it's your traditional little bit of heel relief and a little bit of toe relief. And then there's a lot of sole there. So a lot of sole that's been cut away, and then just a little bit and a little bit. Now, and also in addition to that is that if you look, there's been some milling done in here to give it a fancier appeal. That we got that. However, there's a piece of tungsten on this thing. You see that? Piece of tungsten right there. Now, why put tungsten on the top of that? Now, that's for guys that are the excuse, and I've not heard it yet, but typically when you put weight at the top here, what you do is you get a not a ballooning shot. You get more of what they will say controlling trajectory. Okay, that's what they're going to get. Now, what do I like about this? I like the fact that it's got this higher toe area. I like a higher toed wedges. That's just me, right? That's all preference. Now, this platinum also will come with the mid, but it's a black shaft, so it's a little bit stylish, and it will also come with an MCC grip that's black and gray, i.e. platinum. Okay, and that's what you're going to get. And there's various bounces, but they will be in this Z grind. The Z grind is made to be very utilitarian. But that instead of having a whole laundry list of these wedge and their grinds, that's what we're getting. So we're going to get a standard, we're going to get a wide, we're going to get a C, we're going to get the D, I'm sorry, the T, and then the Z. So that's where we're at. And with the 115 mid, it's a pretty decent shaft. It was solid, and then the recoil dart. Okay, so that's where we're at with that one. Also, this weekend, Mrs. McGolf and I went to a bourbon festival. This is really quick, so stay with me. And what it is to find out more about the Ohio distilleries. And we did. And when we got there, we got in line and we started hearing some guys talking about social media. And so I flipped around and I'm like, hey, which one of you guys got a YouTube channel? And he's like, oh, that's me. I got one. We started talking a little bit. And he says, well, what about you? And I said, oh, yeah, I got one too. And he, oh, my gosh, we love golf, blah. We just went through it. And so we started talking. And great bunch of guys. They just were a great bunch of guys. And turned out one of them's a lefty. So that was even better. We were just having a blast. So we're in line. I had Mr. McGolf take a picture of us and figure which one's the odd man out here, just in case you didn't see us. All right. All those small fries that are right in there, right? And then there's that guy right in the middle. But the guy here on the right, he's got his own channel. It's Robin will know what it is. And these other two guys, the guy standing to my right was the other lefty. Good guy. Good guy. And we found out I went to a Giant Eagle the very first time ever and walked away with an allocated Woodford Reserve. So there we go. So there's my stuff for the day. Bourbon 30 from Jay Mattingly. I suggested highly as a middle of the road bourbon. Okay, let's get to it. Let's start answering some questions. And to the top we go. Yeah, wait, new release. Yes, it is JPX, and the new ones will be coming out, and the internet will be loaded Monday, including me. All right, Matt says no rounds. What? The question is when is the end game for a new golf club? How does that process work? And enjoy the show. So, if you're talking about just a brand new one and you're talking about an OEM, I'm going to set these up here a little bit better. If you're talking about OEM, normally they have a 2-year life cycle unless they are selling extraordinarily well, in which case they'll ride that pony until it just falls down into the dirt. However, uh, in the typical buying sense anymore, what happens is that they have to have a shiny new bauble. It's a more marketing than anything else. So what you do is you get two different lines going. You have let's use Mizuno as an example because this is what they're doing. They have their JPX line, which is aimed at, we'll say, the average to above average golfer. They have the HMs, they have high launches, they'll have HM Pros, they'll have Forged, and they'll have Tours. Now, each one of those will be significantly different and have different applications, i.e., the Tour is something that you could easily see on the Tour for that matter. However, the other ones, the HMs, the Pros, even the Forge, are something that you see more in line with what is played at your local golf course. Now, the other line is called the Mizuno Pro line. The Mizuno Pro line is exactly what they talk about. It is made for that better golfer. The 941 is the blade. The 943 is the player's cavity back. The 945, however, is a departure. And a lot of people that are, we'll say, average to above average can hit this thing with nobody's problem. That was my first Mizuno versus Wilson, and they were very, very close to the Dynaforge product. So if somebody like me can hit it, it means a lot of people can hit it. Okay. So what you do is you cycle in every 2 years, meaning that Mizuno will come out in 2024, the Mizuno Pros, and the JPXs will come out in 25. Well, and then in 26, here comes the new Mizuno Pros, and in 27, here we go with that one. Okay. That's how that would work. Whoa, what did we just do here? Let's see if we can. Just there we go. Okay, so anyway, that's what we were looking at, and that's how they would do it and most companies tend to do that. Callaway has it. Titleist is Ping's sometimes out. They got their irons and drivers kind of turning around, but they all have that kind of a cycle. Now, if you're talking about yours, we talk, when is the end game for a new golf club? If you're getting to the end game, you're not at a new golf club. So if he's asking end game for a new golf club and how you would get there, let's go down that path. So in my opinion, if you're going to search for a new golf club, a couple of things have occurred. Number one, your current set is not satisfying your game. Something has changed in the way you do things. Maybe you've had shoulder surgery, age has caught up to you, swing changes occurred, something along that lines. And in order for you to increase your golf game and have more fun, it's time for a new club. That's one. The other one is that it is so ancient that it doesn't matter what I would give you, it would be better. All right. And I've had that this week. I had a 15-year-old driver in here that I just randomly picked some stuff off and I threw it at him and he hit it better. and so then we started tightening it up to go even more so. But that's when I would go through that. All righty. Howdy, Phil K. Sorry about that. Again, join us next Monday and hopefully we hook you right up. John from Myrtle Beach, what do you say, sir? Glad you made it on. Alan Osirian. I hope I said that well. Alan, thank you for joining us. If it's any indication, thank you for staying up late. We're getting through this. John, here we go. John's got a question on grips. Why would you add multiple layers of tape when you can just size up? Mid-size, is it weight? Actually, no, I don't. When you find that one out, John, you let me know. Now, typically for us, if you're going to go from a standard to a mid, and you go to add, you want to add, it's going to take 3 layers of our tape plus the grip tape to truly get to that mid size. And when you talk about the differences in grams, it's almost imperceivable. Okay. Now, why not just go to mid? Therein lies the question. Some people have this idea that even with the tape underneath there, it's going to be smaller, when in reality, it is not. Now, if you're somebody that is in between, I could see adding the layers of tape and but you're right, if you're just size up. Charlie, how are you, sir? Sunny Alberta, Mr. John Lamb, how are you? Hope you guys are doing well. Same here. I hope you are too. So I will say this, I did learn a little something after, this is basically, it's totally out of character for me, but it's my 4th or 5th round. And I just went out there with the idea of just swinging to be swinging and not killing it. And boy, oh boy, are the results really good. On the back at Crown Hill, there's a hole. It's number 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. It's number 15, and it has a set of goalposts. And you got to hit a pretty decent ball out there and you get it. And when it hits in the fairway, it's a dog leg right, but the whole fairway is tilted. So when it hits, it automatically wants to go down the fairway. And I've been struggling to even get through the goalpost because I've been trying too hard. And I just relaxed and swung one, and I ended up, and it was a 347 shot, and I was well within pitching wedge range when we got there. So not too bad. All righty. Mark Nat, of the available club builder heads besides Maltby, which brands was most accessible for new club builders? Uh-huh. Let's see. I have to think about this one. It's in a different plane. It's kind of in a different. You might try KZG. They have, but they're going to have their own set of requirements. But as getting started, they're a pretty good club. There is an Alpha. That one you can get a hold of. Alpha makes a pretty good product. Crank makes a driver that I'm sure they'd be willing to sell you. And who is another one? We used to deal in Infinity, but they're no longer in business. KZG, Maltby, and it used to be Golfsmith did it too, but they're no longer around. And they used to have Snake Eyes, and I think you could even if you knew somebody, you could get a hold of the new McGregor stuff. But I'd go with Alpha first, KZG third, as far as availability and ease. Okay. There's Wishon. What am I thinking? Yeah, Wishon is out there. I would give them a call first after Maltby. Then I would go with Alpha. Then I would go with KZG. But Wishon, you can't go wrong there, bud. Quality product. Oh my goodness gracious! It's just like I got a spider web right there on the edge of my nose, and it won't go away. But Wishon, yeah, give them a call, and they'll take care of you. That'd be an all around win, is my fact. In fact, I still have. In fact, one of the reasons we didn't have pictures of it, but I just finished a single length set from those guys for a local golfer, and so we still keep in touch with them. Yeah. I like the new look too, Herman. I do like the new look. I'm talking with my rep right now to figure out why I don't have a set of these things in my shop to test right now. Once we get done with that, we will definitely have a full-on conversation for that. That's for sure. And we got that, we got that, we got that, we got that, we got that. There we go. There's Charlie. Oh, I don't know what that is, but it's got to go away. I think I got it. What are you sipping on root beer tonight? It's what is in the root beer. All right. Hello, Ruben. Let's see. Robin. Still on Diet Dr. Pepper. Root beer was yesterday. Ah. There's Brad. So, Brad, you need to give me, you won those grips the other day, and you need to send us your contact information so I can give you the contact information for Star, and they will send you a set of grips. You won last time, and we didn't get anything from you. So you can either put it on here in a comment below or send it to mcgolfshop@roadrunner.com. mcgolfshop, mcgolfshop@roadrunner.com, and we will get you the information you need so you can go and get yourself a full set of grips. There we go. Charlie. Very good, sir. All righty, John Lamb. I use a lot of build-up tape as the grip I like. The Golf Pride they don't make in a large size. Now there's always another condition, John. He's correct. But also have tried some larger grips, but I prefer the small one built up. Okay. Herman loves a root beer float. So does Robin, but as long as it has vodka in it. I can use half wraps and full wraps to get the feel I like. Well, there you go. You can turn MCCs into MCC 4 pluses. I don't know if we saw anything from you, Brad, so we'll have to look that up. Love the Chrome Soft. I do too. I like them. I just spin them too much. I Well, I did have him hit some, and the Wilsons did good. They really were, they would have been in the mix to be sure, but the Chrome Softs were just a little bit better. I like the wedge, Charlie. Golly. Okay, I think I got it. I like the wedge. I like the way that it felt. You know, for me at this particular point, I still have my J Grind full toes from Callaway, and they're in the bag, and I just really, really like them. I got a truckload of confidence with them, and it was really, 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 really difficult to just set up and just say, yeah, these are going to do good when you know little to nothing about them. And when I hit that first shot, and it gave me a sense of, hey, this isn't so bad. And like, okay. And then we hit another one, and then hit another one, and hit another one. And I hit things straight. I pulled a lot of my shots. I never left anything to the left, which being lefty, out. But it was going these distances that I wanted them to go. I was trying to land on fronts of greens and let them roll. I was trying to land at the stick and letting it roll, and it was doing what I was wanting it to do. So, and the spin on this thing, I was only rolling out 4 feet, maybe. I mean, it wasn't going away, and there was a truckload of dew on the grass. John Lamb shot a 80 at the local muni last Friday, switched back to the old Odyssey center shafted proto. Then I left 4 putts a half-inch short. There you go. Well done, John. The Z grind's cool, man. I got to admit. I do like it. I do like it. The sole grind on this one in particular, with the leading edge that's cut down a little bit, so that really helps both styles of golfers when we talk about sweepers and diggers. So it allows you to get underneath the ball a little bit more because it's going to set, it's going to set just really nice and level to get down into the ball. And I really like that about it. Now, what I did notice about this is the grind on this, they are grind and, or milled, sorry. They are milled. And it's aggressive, right? It's aggressive. I do like, and it's got the little knurling to give it a little bit of dressing. So if you can see the knurling right there, it's to give it, so it's aggressive. So it's a nice little club. It gets out there. I didn't have one left-handed to test, but maybe next time. Oh, I know they get no love, Bill. I don't know what the hell the deal is with that. But we need to get a little bit more, man. Let's need to get a little bit more. Okay, here we go from Sweden. There's Krister. Krister, I saw you posted a picture on your Instagram where you were out. It looked like you're in a field. Were you hiking or were you lost with the golf ball? All right. Let's see. The ear patch. Lefties get no clubs and live shorter lives on average. Talk about getting shafted. Well, in this shop, there's plenty of left-handed clubs, and I'm the reason why. Past weekend had 3 competitions. Saturday, he played in the club championship for age category, which he won. Good job! Number 1 for Krister. Gotta give him the golf clap. Golf clap. Okay. And played on Sunday at a match game, lost in a playoff. Also played a Sunday tour. Man, look at you go, buddy. You're all over it. Good job. So all that practice has been paying off on all those lessons. Good for you. Well, slow swing speed. The Mizuno info will be next Monday. As I told you in the beginning, that they made a mistake on the embargo date, and it's next Monday, not this Monday. Lefty Bill, that's right. What do you say, RS from St. Louis? I got to see the golf laboratories testing robots hit golf balls. It's amazed me how inconsistent balls coming out of the same box or even the same sleeve can be. Yeah, they had so the thing that you see, I think Bryson was doing it where he spins his balls in the water. We started doing that. Maltby did that years and years and years and years and years and years and years ago. And I still have a container of it. It's in plastic. It has the salt in it, and I've yet to. It has never seen water, so it's a kit. And what you do is you spin the ball. When it stops, you pick it up. You put the dot on the top. Then you spin it again. And when you spin it again, if the dot comes back up again, man, if the dot comes back up again, then you know it's balanced. If it does not, it is not balanced. So you got to work on that. Sunday tour finished 70-11 with 82. Okay, very cool. When the 923s drop, I don't know. Miss McGolf is all about the price. She probably can chime in on that one. John reshafted the 950 Neos. Hard stepped, has worked out. Higher ball flight, about a half club longer, less elbow pain. Nice for you, buddy. I'm glad to see that's working out for you. Charlie's telling Krister, good play. Did you get a trophy for your efforts? That's a good question. Peter from Myrtle Beach. He shot a 75 on Saturday. Weather was hot and humid. Felt like 103. There's a lot of that going on down there. After I was done, I was so wet it was like taking a shower with my clothes on. Yeah, we did that down there. Not with playing with you, but we went in the morning. Oh my God, the dew stayed on the ground until about 10:30. That's how humid it was. John says, excellent playing to Krister. Seems like your game's really coming together. Yep, it's like all that practice is showing up. Joey Manning's from Georgia. He's out there. He's on with us. Hello, sir. Seeing Welk back. Oh, okay. So they dropped him today, just in preparation. Well, we have been seeing some discontinued. So as far as we're seeing here in Ohio, there's already some that you won't be able to get. So if you're interested in getting a 923 at a decent price, well, it's not me selling, it's me telling, is that you had better go out and check it out right now, because in a month they won't be there. I know what you mean, Peter. It felt like a washcloth when I finished playing. Humidity was way up. And it was here too, up until, what was it, Friday? We had a rain shower. And all of a sudden, next thing you know, we're waking up to 57 degrees. In fact, that's what I was playing in Sunday. I drove up and it was 57 when I started. And when I got done, it was in the high 70s. So it climbed almost 20 degrees. That is something else. Mr. Jack from Lombard, how are you, sir? Is hitting it better today. So which putter did you have in the bag, Krister? There's a question. Which putter was it that you had in the bag? Oh, you guys, new TR Black on Friday. Unfortunately, the shaft broke at the adapter. Ooh wee. Yeah, that's not good. Hopefully that shaft will be placed under warranty. I would hope so too. Mike Warren, hello everybody. Oh, I like the picture. Like that old style stuff going on with a new style golf club. Very cool. And he is getting a new one. Good for him. Any new hybrids or putters? Well, I think we're going to see. So the CLKs normally come out with those, right? I would think that we would certainly see a new one. Haven't seen them yet, but what I've got is the High Fly. Hold on a minute. And it was the High Fly. That was a video that I normally, or a club that I really haven't gone to, because I didn't see any real value in it when we had all the CLKs. And after playing it today, I'm going to have to throw that in the mix. But let's see, there it is. And but it came with a dynamic gold 95 S300, and it worked really good. So that's a different thing altogether. There's John talking to John saying thanks. There's John again. Should be able to get warranty. Yep. Yeah, Sam, I only had it for an hour on the simulator. Oh no. There we go. Hey, Warren's Golf. I do like that. There's Deb. That was the one I was telling you about. She's got that smooth swing and likes them lighter clubs. And she's an Atlas. Is this thing moving around? It is. It's moving around. And she's an absolute gem. All right. An absolute gem. Uh, she was great to work with. A lot of fun. Her and her husband both. All righty. You had asked for some ideas for some new episodes live. Yeah. How about a rundown on tip trimming, butt cutting, and utilizing recommended tip stick? Okay. That's a good one. That's a good one. That's a good one, because I lived and died. Look at that. The thing is still moving. How do I make it stop? I wonder. Anyway, I lived and died. Let's see if I can make this go away. There we go. How about that? I'm getting good at that one. Now if I could just get it to stop. I think anyway, there we go. I lived and died by trim charts when I first started out, just like anybody else, because you just don't have you just don't know, right? And it's a bit of information you just got to cling to. But I will say this, Brad, if you have a frequency machine or a strain gauge, which one you want to call it, or bin profile stuff, the very first thing you want to do is do one that is not tip trimmed, and get a good starting point, because sometimes you just get this awful one that's in the mix, and you're going to have to maybe trim it a little more or even trim it a little less, in order to get where you want to go. And that in itself has its own pitfalls, because if you trim too much or too less, then you can impact the way that it also plays. So yeah, it's a real balancing game. And after several years of doing this, and I have a whole book, right, a whole book of all the different trim codes that they ever had, and I would refer to them. And then after a while, I just got used to the ones, because you tend to gravitate to two or three companies, and then you just memorize them, and that's what you get done. That's kind of what I've done. Harm, I have the Opus wedge. Seed grinds. All right. And he left Vokies to go get them. I'm glad you like them, Herman. I like that. He also noticed my Callaway's Pros are using SM10s instead of the Opus wedge. Well, go give him a lesson, Herman, and tell him what's what. Typically, what you do is you find in these things, when it really comes down to wedges, guys and gals, the idea is, what do you like the feel of? Do you like something that feels like this when you got the tungsten across the top, maybe a little extra weight, maybe that ball flight goes to where you want it to go? Or do you like something that is standard in nature, right? And it gets the ball up in the air and you like seeing that little spin? Or do you like the way that it looks to you at address? Well, it all comes right down to it. And when we do fittings here, we do wedges in a lot of cases, not all, but in a lot of cases, I will look at the golfer and I'll go, okay, I got $500 on the table, and we're just talking theory. I have $500 on the table, and I give you this wedge, and you had to hit a given distance for $500. What would that distance be? That's a twofer question. Number one, if they go, well, I don't know, that's a problem, right? You need to know how far you're going to hit your short clubs, right? If you're going to take a full swing with this guy, right? If you're taking a full swing with that guy, or if you're taking a half swing, a quarter swing, or however it is you get there, you have to know what your distances are. And because when you roll up and you're kind of like, well, I'm 50 yards with the sand wedge if I swing this way, but if I swing that way, I might be 40, and if I go this way, I might be no. What is it that gets you a 50-yard swing if that's what you're looking for? A 50-yard distance if that's what you're looking for? Typically, you can, if we use Dave Pells as the example, it's all about where you pull it back, but you're always swinging through the same. That makes sense to me, and it works for me because of my background. Now, there are other people that like to choke down on golf clubs and take all the swings. The last bit I'll talk about on this wedge before we keep going on, the other part here is wedges are finesse clubs. I will get guys that go, oh, yeah, when I take a full swing, and I'm like, well, why would you? Why would you take a full swing with a wedge? Unless and you were in some kind of serious jail, right? Now, if you're a 1 or a 0, okay, I get that. But if you're a 1 or a 0, chances are you're not hitting this thing. You're hitting something else, and you're taking even more off of it so you can get bite. And that's just the way it goes. Krister says 2 weeks from now, it'll be the big club championships. Plays over 54 holes, 2 rounds Saturday and 1 Sunday. Uh-oh, you better tune it up a little bit, Krister. Epsom salt water to get mild saline solution to check the balance of the golf ball works great. Yep, and it's not like it's a new one, but there you go. What do we got here? Algernon, what do you say, sir? Hello there from a hot and sunny Bermuda. Ooh-wee. Yeah, I can only imagine. So the hurricane didn't do you guys any, it didn't bring any bad weather in? I hope it doesn't. But thanks for joining us, sir. Wayne, what do you say, buddy? Jim Robbins shot 10 over par last week. Bad thing was I took a 9 and 8 on 2 holes. Still not disappointed. No. When you take a 9 or 8, that's either a quad or whatever you go above a quad. A cinco. And those are 9 strokes right there. So, 8 to 9, 8 to 9 strokes. I guess it could be 3 to 9 strokes. That's still pretty good. The putter I have gamed all season is a Wildcat. Looks like an old McGrader Fat Lady Swings Bobby Grace. Okay, cool. There's Mr. McGolf telling Deb hi. By the way, I'm an old lefty too. All right, Wayne. Well, we can get in there. We call it the Brotherhood of the Right-Handed Watch. Tom Wiseapple, what do you say? What's the best epoxy, 810 or 420? Ooh, good question. If you're looking for speed, 810. If you're looking for something specific, then it's 420. Now, here's the differences. 810 is an established epoxy on the tour, but they want to get their stuff built, got to get it dried, and got to get it out there really, really fast. What scares me is that could they hit it? Yes. But these guys are swinging hard and well and all these different things. It would just scare, and your reputation is on the line when you let something go out that trailer. And how they trust this stuff, I just do not know. It would have to sit in my shop a half a day before I'd let it go. Now, that's not the way that stuff works. This thing gets hard in 15 minutes, right? And then within an hour, you should be able to go play it no problem. Uh, that's 810. The 420 is specifically designed for golf club building. It's made to take that particular stress, and it has a longer cure time, albeit not very long, but it's still longer. So if you were using the 810, you might be able to get 3 clubs, 4 clubs tops before the glue started gelling on you and you couldn't use it anymore. Where the 420, you could probably go 25 minutes, and that'd be the max, right? But if you're looking at a building process, if you started making clubs in the morning, by the afternoon you could have them finished off. Whereas in the 810, you could start in the morning, and in the morning you could be doing it. So that's how I would look at it. They both have very, very similar shear strengths. They're just built differently in order to get you where you want to go. Here's my buddy Bob. We're getting ready to go on vacation. We're going to be going to Florida. We're going to check out some chicken and waffles. It'll be the chicken and waffle contest. Hey, look at that. Rob's saying on YouTube. Yep, he made it on YouTube, didn't he? Yep. Last week, Debbie dumped 11 inches of rain. However, not as bad as Charleston. They got 20 inches. Yeah. Well, with the sandy soil, that ought to be pretty decent. At least he didn't get washed away. He had his snorkel with him. Does an extra weight keep the ball flight lower, or does it add more or less spin? RS, it's more along the lines, if it's a lower, what they try not to say is hitting a low wedge, because that pretty much a lot of guys don't like that. But they say a more controlled ball flight, which means lower, right? Does it impact the spin? No. If you come into it at a certain angle, you're going to spin it pretty good no matter what. And in this particular instance, the way it is, it grabbed the ball pretty good. Peter's doing the backstroke when he was getting all that rain. Uh-huh. There's Miss Deb talking to Robin. Howard Shore, what do you say, sir? Glad you made it on. John Lamb, don't the tour trucks still use the cookers to cure the epoxy and fast builds for the players? No, they do not, John. They use the 810. That 810 is super fast by itself. They literally, even those guys that are that good, they normally relegate themselves to 2 or 3 clubs tops. And it's one squirt with the trigger, and then they'll mix up a little bit, and then by the time they get done with the third one and they're done cleaning it up and putting the grip on and all that stuff, that thing is hard as a rock, and they're throwing it away and handing it out the door. But nope, no more cure cookers. Now I still have mine. When I used the Maltby 24-hour epoxy, that stuff, that was, if you're looking for a more economical glue, that stuff is really, really good. It has a very, very long work time, and then it gels, but you wouldn't be able to touch it for half a day at max, or half a day minimum, sorry. But if you put it in a cooker, in a couple hours, it's done, and at a higher shear strength. So it was really cool how that worked. I got a gym locker, and I filled it full of that silver insulation, and then I installed two 100-watt light bulbs, and the thing will hold 2, 3 sets of golf clubs easy. And it's a neat little work. One day I might sell that. We're going to the St. Augustine area. I believe we got a round scheduled at Slammer at the Squire. We got one at the LPGA course, and we're trying to figure out where we want to go in between all that because we're getting close to the time frame to do it. And I'm still trying to figure it out where we would go. If you got any recommendations, let me know. We considered the TPC, but it's just so ridiculously expensive. It's not even worth the effort. And flighted wedge. Well, you wouldn't be wrong, Charlie. It's very much that way. Bob played at Eagle Sticks last Sunday. Shot a 70. Uh-oh. I want strokes, man. Love the new driver and the wedges. All right. So we upgraded Mr. Bob to the new smoke, and he was already a good driver of the ball, and he had the previous model, and not the Paradigm. I think he had the model before. He's doing that, and then the wedges we put him in the CBs, and he keeps telling me, how he's chipping these things in. It just surprises me to all get. And then I watch him play, and I go like, oh, that's it. But he just absolutely can drop the ball. Now the other part that helps him out is he can drop 40 footers like they're free. All right. Matt has seen him do it. Uh, oh my goodness, Peter's seen him do it. Everybody's seen him do it. I have this running joke with him that if it's 40 footers, I pretty much say, yeah, to pick that up, it's a gimme. But he gets around 3 foot, I'm making him putt. Yeah, he got the new he got the Smoke Max, and he got the new Cypher shaft in it, I believe. And then we cut it down and put it in his bag. I got that one scheduled, Jack. That one is the first one that we were able to get scheduled. I played that one, 15 years ago, maybe. And so I remember I played with a guy from New York. He's a car salesman, worked in waste management. And we got up to this one green, and there was a snake, and it was probably about 1.5 feet long. It was sunning itself. And but it was a we call them copperheads up here, but it was a cottonmouth down there. So we shoot it away and got to playing. That was pretty cool. All righty, video on Instagram is my home course. Okay, that where you shooting? It looked like there's some tall heather going on there, Krister. I was wondering maybe if you were hiking or something along that lines. Good gravy. Okay. Yeah, we got down to the bottom with 2 minutes to spare. That's normally not what we do here at McGolf. We normally go long, but since we got to the bottom, and again, it's my fault. I wish we could be talking about these clubs because I really am impressed with them. I have to get the look is okay. I like it. I still haven't, my judgment isn't over with them yet, right? And but what I think is they made the Pro a little bit more compact, where they made the HM model a little bit nicer, and there that is. So I think what we're going to see is I had the Dynamic Gold 105s in the Pro models, and in the HMs I'm going to test, they have the Neo 950s, which I like. So this ought to turn out to be a pretty good test. So again, this weekend, watch out for the Opus review. That'll be really nice. And then it'll be middle of the week. And then next week we will be talking Monday with John. No kidding, for real. And ask him all the questions you want. Everything across the spectrum about clubs and club building. Okay, guys. Again, I super duper appreciate it. I apologize for him not being here. And it's only of our own free will that he's not here because, well, he wouldn't be able to talk about the stuff. So again, watch out for our video coming up this week. Please hit that like and subscribe. And as always, let's see your scores go low.